welcome to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. This is a live streaming Star Wars YouTube vidcast made by Star Wars fans for Star Wars fans. And today we're going to continue with our episode reviews of The Mandalorian. This one is Chapter 15, The Believer.
The penultimate episode, right
Fuck
before the finale. So there was a lot of high hopes coming to this for me. And
Yeah.
it was not what I expected.
Not at all for me either. And it's so funny too, because I heard so many people call this a filler episode, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, a filler episode is something that is a single stakes exploration of just something. Yeah. There's no character development. It's like popcorn. It's there. It's tasty. It fills you up, but it's not. There's no nutritional value to it, really. It helps you poop, but that's about it.
Yeah.
This was not a fucking filler episode at all.
Yeah, this episode was all about perspective and growth as a character, and it forces the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, to really... It challenges him on what is important, what rules are the most important to follow when he's, on a mission that actually matters to him. And Mayfield, we get to see real development in character in him. Absolutely. With some deep backstory shit that I want to touch on when we get to it. But I loved this episode.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's not at all what I expected, but I'm really glad we got it because there's a lot of really good, meaty Star Wars stuff in here. How's it going, William? Good to see you, man. It's been forever.
It has. It's been a long time.
All right, so this is written and directed by Rick Famuyiwa. I'm sorry if I'm fucking that up, dude. But anyway, fantastic director and fantastic writer. It was a lot of good stuff. It premiered on December 11th, 2020. Do you want to go through the episode recap?
Yeah, so starts essentially with Mayfield on the prison planet at the Carthon chop fields. And we see it was Slave 1 that he showed up in, right? I didn't get a chance to rewatch this.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
I mean, once Cara Dune pulled him out of that prison.
Oh, yeah. We don't actually see it lay down, but yeah. Yeah, so anyways, he gets reprimanded by Cara Dune, and they're going back to the ship. He's the whole time he's like, "Hey, so what's going on? Where the fuck am I going?" And she's not giving him shit.
Be polite if you told me what was going on. You were taking me.
Yeah. And then the best part was as soon as he gets to the ship and Boba Fett starts coming down, he freaks out. "Oh shit, I thought you were somebody else." And then Din comes down and he's like, "Oh fuck. Can I just stay here?"
So funny.
So damn good.
Yeah, I like the dynamic between Din and Mayfield. Like, even before, it was really funny. When he's like screaming, "Get out of my face, Mandalorian!" Like, it's just they worked together in the past, so they have a history. He's never seen his fucking face ever, so he's always ribbing him about it. Yeah, and to know that he was afraid of him coming down. At first I was like, oh, he thought that was the real Boba Fett, and then he thought it was not the real Boba Fett, and then Din came down. I was like, oh, he thought it was Din. Oh, yeah, that's what he's afraid of.
Yeah, that was my first thought too. It was like, oh, clearly he knows who Boba Fett is. And this, like, that, oh my god, I love that fresh painted armor.
Yeah, I heard people bitching about that.
I don't get it. Like, I fucking love that.
It looked good.
Like, and it just makes sense. That's the obvious, progression. Like, he has been dying for his armor to be back. Like, that is his birthright. Of course he's gonna pamper the hell out of it as soon as he gets it back. Yeah. And god, I loved it so much. I mean, yeah, it looked like a box of crayons melted on him, but it was great. So good.
It just reminded me of, like, why don't you take care of your gear? Like, that just you have to clean your firearm if you want it to regularly fire, as we saw in the finale episode. But you have to take care of your shit. So why wouldn't you? It had been on Tatooine for years, just destroyed and rubbed raw, and it was already bad when he wore it, in like Return of the Jedi. So just clean it up.
Well, I mean, this is all legend stuff. Presumably, I don't know what's going to happen in the coming seasons. Right. But you would, once you get your armor, you would paint it. You would add your crest. You would do whatever you're going to do to it. and that's it. You don't ever touch that shit again. Like, you can clean it up and whatnot, but
Yeah.
you get a paint chip, that was a scar. You get a blaster bolt, that's a scar. Like, you don't ever get rid of that because it shows what you've been through. So
Nice.
I like it. It made sense that he repainted it because he got it anew. So he would want to start anew. Again, assuming
cool.
that,
like that
with Legends, or that goes on with the Legend or whatever.
Yeah, I know. I like that a lot. I think that's really cool. Okay. Yeah. So they get on the ship. He's like, "Well, what am I doing?" He's like, "Are you gonna let me go if I help you?" And they're like, "No." He's like, "Well, what's in it for me?" She's like, "Oh, different view." He's like, "All right, fine, but you know, the only way I can get you this information, because they're asking him to find the location of the Imperial cruiser. He's like, I need to get to a terminal access, and there's only one, you know, that I can think of right now, and it's on this mining planet." And they're like, "Really? You already know this? Great. All right, let's go." So it was very quick to get to, we need to get here, so let's get there. And they get there, and they're like, "Well, I can go in alone, I guess." And they're like, "No, we don't trust you to go in alone. You got to go in." He's like, "They'll recognize my face." So Boba can't go in.
Yeah.
Each of them have a reason they can't go in, except for Din, if he changes his outfit, which he doesn't want to do because he's Mandalorian in the cult version of the Mandalorians, which doesn't remove the helmet. So already he's making sacrifices. He's adjusting the rules to fit the need of the moment. And again, it's for Grogu, so he's willing to make that sacrifice begrudgingly. But I love Mayfield's reaction when he sees him in the outfit, Imperial outfit.
Yeah.
And he's just constantly ribbing him the whole time. So good. But this is where we get to see Mayfield's true perspective when they get inside the transport in order to drive the, what is it called, the Viridium, the highly explosive. I'm like scanning my notes here to find the damn name.
Yeah.
The Rhydonium.
Yeah.
So they held up a Rhydonium transport in order to, you know, pose as the pilots of it, the drivers of it, in order to get into the Imperial installation. And this scene right here, it's just Mayfield questioning, well, what are the rules then? Is it that you can't take a helmet off, or you can't take the Mandalorian helmet off? Because there is a difference. And then they're driving through the town. Yeah. He's like, you know, it's no different to these people right here, whether it's the New Republic or whether it's the Empire. Someone's ruled and someone's being ruled. Someone's ruling and someone's being ruled. And it's just like, it was an idea that was set in the sequel trilogy poorly, but this fixed all of it. Like, yeah, of course, if you're just a regular person living out in the galaxy and some other mass military force comes and takes over your planet, you're not going to like them. It's just natural. We're tribal. That's how it works. And especially if you're not really seeing the benefit of their presence on your planet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I loved how he just so concisely conveyed that idea that to everyone in the galaxy, except for the people in control, it doesn't matter who's in control. Like, they're just being controlled. And then he brings up this really great idea. He's like, it's all about perspective. The people on if you were born on Alderaan, you believed one thing. If you were born on Mandalore, you believed something else. And both of them are gone. So
yeah.
And it was just this really great introspection moment for us vicariously through Din. I loved it. That was great.
Yeah, no, we needed this.
Yeah.
Like, this was because I mean, we're getting a little bit of backstory each episode, but this was like just heavy, like, makes you think, what the hell did they go through, like, to get up to this point?
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah, and so then pirates start attacking the caravan, and they're seeing them like being attacked, and they're seeing explosions, and the voice on the comms like, continue on guard. And he's like, are you kidding me? Continue? Like,
well, the hard part is, like, they have to go at a certain pace, otherwise the Rhydonium will become volatile and explode.
Yeah.
So, like, they have a clear path to get back to the base, but they can't get there fast. And the moments when he actually has to stop to let it relax, that is just like some butthole puckering shit. Yeah. Like, oh my god, they all have thermal detonators and you're just gonna stop? Yeah. Fuck. And then like when you're passing each other tanker that's just blown up on the side of the road, it's like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, they're gonna make it, but there's that little bit of like, are they gonna make it?
I actually really like this transport sequence. This whole series is like a spaghetti western essentially, and we've mentioned that a billion times. This is like a stagecoach robbery.
This is fucking Indiana Jones right here.
Yeah, and just seeing him up top there, and that's exactly right. Seeing him on top of that that transport, fighting off the pirates, it was great. Like it was.
Well, especially like without his armor.
Yeah.
Like he was still kicking ass without his armor.
But he was taking hits too. That's what I love so much about it.
Fucked up.
He wasn't just dominating. Like he was having to fight and struggle. And then at the very last scene, they're like, I have to slow down to go over the bridge, man. And they see the 3 transports coming up, and all of them open up their detonators. And he's just like, he does this sigh like, oh, fuck. But just like with the Mudhorn, he's facing death. Fuck it. I'm going down fighting. Like, this is his code. I love it.
That stance, like after he's like, all right, fuck this, gets ready, and it's just like, you motherfucker. You're so awesome.
So cool. Oh, man. And then I had this really strange conflicted feeling because he was rescued by Imperials, but he was posing as an Imperial. And it really, Star Wars does this so beautifully. It's all from a certain point of view, because if you're in an Imperial outfit and you're about to be exploded up by fucking pirates and the Imperials rescue you, even though you're actively trying to infiltrate them to destroy them, you're stoked. And I love how Mayfield's like, whoa, like screaming out through that Han Solo yell as the Imperial TIE fighters come flying in and
that was
shoot down the fucking skiffs.
Dope.
God damn, I love that so much. And then they're like saluting them as they're entering, and everyone's cheering them on as if it was Luke Skywalker at the end of A New Hope. It's just fucking great.
Oh yeah,
I loved how it just flipped.
You don't get to see that too often. Like the bad guys having a good day, and it's just them being them.
So fucking fun. And then so they go inside, and the terminal happens to be in the cafeteria where one of Mayfield's previous commanders is sitting in there. And so he's like, I can't go in there, Din. Like, I can't. He's in there. He might recognize me. And so Din's like, oh, all right, I'll go. And he's like, this really weird moment where they're like, well, you have to have a face showing to be scanned. It has to be a face that's not like known, but you have to have your face scanned. So it's like this weird Google CAPTCHA device, like click on every bus in the image. It doesn't matter whose face it is as long as it's a human face and not a robot face, apparently.
I mean, it makes sense.
I guess. It was weird to me. But yeah, so he takes his fucking helmet off. So he's like, look, I am compromising everything, and I don't mind because it's for Grogu. And everything I do is for him, and so it's going to be good. And then we see that Imperial officer come up, and his face, I immediately thought back to Rob Zombie's 31, because he was one of the murderers in that, and he has a great face.
Oh, hell, it is.
That guy is amazing. I wish I would have written down his name. Valen Hess is the character he's playing. But yeah, he just starts questioning him, and Din is a horrible bluffer. I had no idea he was so shitty at bluffing.
Well, it makes sense because he's always so straightforward about everything.
So that's when Mayfield slides in all nice and sly style, and he just starts fucking bluffing for him and, making covers like, what's your name? Know your TK number and all this stuff. It's just fantastic. And he's like, all right, well, we need to go file our TP reports.
I believe that's what it was.
I can't remember. It's an Office Space reference, which was just hilarious that they threw that reference in there. TPS reports. So then he's like, you're not excused yet. And we're like, oh shit, now we're in trouble. And he's, basically just wants to congratulate them and have a drink with them. But then he sits down and starts throwing down the Imperial dogma. And what we're realizing is that Mayfield was on the planet, one of the planets, during Operation Cinder. And his entire regiment was murdered by their own side because of Operation Cinder. And that's what they're collecting the Rhydonium in this installation to do again. And he's sitting there with PTSD pumping in the back of his head, just not able to contain it. And he's looking around, he's looking at Din, he's like, I can't let this happen again. Like, I lost all of my brothers for this stupid fucking goal, and they're
Hmm.
doing it again, and I have an opportunity to stop it. I cannot do it. And Din's just like, please don't do it. Please don't. You're going to blow our cover. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Hmm.
And I thought it was going to be like an under the table thing, but straight up over
No,
the
that
table.
made perfect fucking sense. And God, that was a beautiful moment. I mean, it's tense, like sitting there watching the back and forth, because he's just like, you see him boiling underneath his skin, like, you motherfucker, you ruined everything.
Yeah.
And he's just so nonchalant about it, like, they're heroes, it's cool, that's what they wanted.
Yeah, I love that they touched on that aspect because morning horrific podcast. Good to see you. This is something that, unless you've been a soldier or unless you know someone who's been a soldier, you probably have never thought about.
Mm-hmm.
But most soldiers are not fighting for the cause. They're fighting for their brothers and sisters next to them. And you form a bond as a soldier that is incredibly strong. And it's really emotional. I get like weird and misty when I talk about it. And so to see him reflect that emotion in this fucking show, and it adds this layer of reality to it that, as a soldier, I never would have thought they would have gone to. Like, it puts them in a place of, no, war is fucking hell. And it doesn't matter whether you're in a galaxy far, far away or whether you're on an Imperial side or the rebellion side. It sucks. And to see your own side sacrifice your brothers in arms for their fucking goals, no matter what those goals are, it's going to affect you. And seeing that reflected in Mayfield was beautiful. And I absolutely loved it. Ugh, it was so goddamn good. I just love that they added that layer to it, that they didn't have to. They could have just come up with some other stupid reason, but it was there and it was heavy. And like you said, it was tense as fuck. And I loved the pause afterward. They just look at each other like, did that happen?
Yeah, everybody stopped. Like, even the troopers that were in the mess hall, like, everybody's just kind of like, the fuck just happened? What do we do now? I guess we shoot each other?
Like, is this happening? Are we okay? And they just start killing motherfuckers. It was so great. And then to see that Fennec Shand and Cara Dune on the outside as snipers protecting them for their exit as they try to make their way out the cafeteria along the outside of the building up to the rooftop so that Boba Fett can pick them up was great. I loved it so much. I almost ripped my earbuds out. It was so
it was
much
that
fun.
fucking exciting.
Yeah. Just rip my ears off. Just seeing him kicking ass and taking names and getting out of there. And then as soon as they get on Slave One, he's like, hand me that rifle. And he does this great sniper shot and explodes all of the Rhydonium, ostensibly destroying that entire installation. And then we see these two TIE fighters come up, and Boba Fett just take evasive action and flies up. And then we see this great callback. Do you want to take that?
Oh my God. When he drops that charge.
Yeah.
God, that was just so beautiful. Like, 'cause, I mean, we've seen this shit before, but never in a planet, like never in atmosphere. So the fact that it still had the same reaction, like you still got that beautiful like line that came out.
Yeah, that sound
God, that was so good.
I was, as soon as I saw that open, I was like, whoa, and like just super stoked because episode 2, man, that Boba Fett Obi-Wan confrontation is like the best part of episode 2. One of them anyway. It gets a lot of shit, that episode, but I actually enjoyed it.
It does. I mean, the nice thing is with the sequel trilogy, it's not the worst one anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I know that. I can't wait to see this happen.
Fuck yeah.
It's fucking awesome. Yeah, and then they escape, and so they have the coordinates. They've got a team. Now all that's left, and so it cuts to Grand Moff, not Grand Moff, but Moff Gideon.
Well, we're missing a part, aren't we? Because doesn't Mayfield like bounce before all this?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, there's just that. It's the inevitable. Like we all knew it was going to happen. He helped him out. So oh no, he died in that explosion. That fucking sucks. I guess we better leave.
Yeah.
And then he just bolts.
It was
but
so
not
funny. He
after.
was like, "I'll
The
leave.
hesitation was great.
Can I go? I'll
Yeah.
go."
It's like, I'm going this way. Is that cool? You're not gonna shoot me, right? Okay.
So funny. I had a great time with that. I hope he shows up again someday.
I would be surprised if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like they just put too much story into this character. Like unless they do like what they did with Quill and kill him, like I'm sure we'll see him again.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, and then it cuts to the Moff, and we see this great hologram of Din addressing the Moff with the exact language in the exact episode that the Moff directed them back in season 1. You don't know what you have. It is more important to me than you realize. You know, like just delivering this, like, I'm coming. Prepare yourself. Speech.
Yeah, that was so badass.
It was the perfect way to end it because it was just like, yeah, come on, this is on. We're gonna fuck you up, man. Like, I was so excited. So, what was your favorite moment of this episode?
Oh man, that was a hard one. I mean, like of course when Boba dropped that charge, like that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But also, like I guess it would probably have to be when whatever the officer was, I forget his name already, but like when he was talking about Operation Cinder and all that shit, and you just see Mayfield just losing his shit. Like that was, I mean, that was pure fucking drama. Like that dude was, you were seeing his internal explosion getting ready to happen. Like that was a beautiful scene.
I absolutely agree. It could have been, and it was written beautifully. Like it could have been Tarantino. That's how good it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the best. Did you have a least favorite moment?
I mean, this whole episode I've been trying to think of one, but I really couldn't. I mean, it was a great episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. The only thing I could think of as least favorite would be the fact that they had to travel such a long distance, that the Imperials have it set apart so far apart from each other, from the drilling to the storage. That was weird to me. It's a little wonky setup.
But that's a Star Wars trope, so that's
they
why
don't have handrails, so none of it makes sense. You just gotta kind of go with it. But that was it. Like other than that, it's a fun. It definitely. I mean, it was definitely fucking Indiana Jones. Now that you mention it, I can't stop thinking about it. You could just hear dun 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 when he's on the top. The music.
Oh my god!
Great.
Could you imagine if Ludwig Göransson did that shit? Like use the Indiana Jones cues for that?
Yes.
Oh my god! But like with his like awesome, almost metal mixture. Oh god, that would have been great.
Oh, that would be great if he did that. Oh my gosh. I wonder if he's gonna have anything to do with the soundtrack with the next indie movie that they're doing.
Oh fuck, that'd be awesome.
Because it is Disney. It's the same group.
That is true.
That'd be fucking awesome. Yeah. So hopes from this episode, we only had one left. What did you want to see?
I just was excited for the badassery and that was gonna happen because it's just gonna be some big fucking battle, and it's of course it doesn't disappoint, but yeah, I was just looking forward to it.
I was kind of hoping they would get like Sight of the Jedi in this one. Like this whole season is about him trying to find the Jedi. He took Grogu to the temple and he communed with something, it seemed like. And so like I was hoping that we would see like at the very end of the episode a cloak appear or something like that, like where's the child or something like that. But we didn't. And I was like, oh, well, maybe there's just, because she did say maybe someone would hear it. So maybe we're just not going to see anything. So I sort of resigned myself after this episode. Like, okay, well, we're not going to get any fucking Jedi.
I think that was part of the purpose of this episode, was the little bit of misdirection.
Yeah. Well,
because when that shit happens, oh boy.
Even people are bitching about that. Oh,
and
we'll
they
talk
can
about
fuck themselves.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, anything else you want to talk about with this episode? Any other hopes or anything?
No, that's really coming out of this episode. It was just like, fuck, this is gonna be the longest week of my life. Like, I just want to see this final confrontation because this is gonna be it. Like, it's going to be either Gideon dies or Din dies. Yep. So I was really looking forward to finding that out.
Yeah, I I was in my head, I'm like, what if Din dies?
Mhm.
Like that would be. I mean, we hope that there's going to be another season. They did say the Mandalorian was going to be airing next December, so
Mhm.
maybe we think he dies, or maybe the child dies, or I have a lot of like ideas pop in my
Mhm.
head. Like, what is it? What is this
Yeah.
going to lead us? Like, just sort of with our watering mouths in anticipation for the next year. What is it going to be? So
Yeah.
I just thought it was great. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in live or after the fact. We appreciate your time and attention. Um, if you like what we're doing here, or even if you don't and you want to hook a brother up, subscribe to the YouTube channel and like
We
the
appreciate it.
videos. Make sure you click that like button. It means a lot to us and the show itself. Um, we now have an apparel store with mugs and stuff on there too. If you want scruffy looking Nerf Herder gear, originally designed, it's all in the brand of this show, which is adult passion for a galaxy far, far away. So if you
Oh
dig
yeah.
it, go check it out. The link is in the description below. And thank you until the Infernal Brotherhood convenes again. May the Force be with you.
Why am I so lucky?
What's up, Princess Mimi? Princess Mimi.